Rain hit the roof in heavy drops as Maya stood in the hallway, her suitcase by her feet. Her mother's voice echoed through the house. Cold, sharp, and final. You've had your turn, Maya. Vanessa needs space to recover. Maya blinked, thinking she had heard wrong. What do you mean? This is my home too, she said quietly, her voice shaking. Evelyn didn't look at her. She kept her arms folded, eyes fixed on the floor like she was afraid to meet her daughter's gaze. Your sister has been through a lot. She needs peace. You'll manage, you always do. Maya stood frozen. For years, she had been the one paying the bills, helping her mother with groceries, fixing the broken things around the house. Vanessa hadn't even called in months. She'd been busy showing off her expensive life on social media. And now, out of nowhere, she had come back home, crying about a breakup and wanting a fresh start. And somehow, that meant Maya had to leave. Her chest tightened as she looked around the living room. The same walls she had painted with her father before he died. The same couch where she'd fallen asleep after long night shifts. Everything that had felt like home now pushed her away. Mom, I've been helping you for years, Maya whispered. You know that, right? I gave up so much. Evelyn's eyes turned cold. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Vanessa is my daughter too. The words cut like glass. Too. As if Maya had to be reminded of her place. Second choice, backup plan, never the favorite. Vanessa's laughter floated in from the kitchen. Light, careless, almost mocking. She was already unpacking, humming like everything was fine. Maya's heart cracked. She bent down, zipped her old suitcase, and picked it up with trembling hands. The rain outside grew louder, matching the storm inside her chest. She walked to the door. Fine, she said softly, more to herself than anyone else. If that's what you want. Evelyn didn't reply. She didn't stop her. When the door shut behind her, Maya felt the world go silent except for the rain. Water soaked through her shoes as she stepped onto the street. She didn't know where she would go. She just knew she couldn't stay where she wasn't wanted. She turned once, looking back at the window of her old bedroom. Vanessa was standing there, smiling as she talked to their mother, standing in the same place Maya had once watched sunsets, laughed on the phone, cried after long days. Now someone else was there. Someone who had taken everything without even asking. Maya stood there in the rain, her hair plastered to her face, her heart aching so badly it hurt to breathe. She wanted to scream, to ask why love could be so unfair. But all she could do was stare. At the window, the light, the two people inside who had forgotten her. Then she turned away and walked into the night, alone, cold, and completely broken. Always the responsible one. That was what everyone used to say about Maya. From a young age, she was the one who cleaned up the messes, remembered the birthdays, and kept things running when no one else cared. While other kids played outside, she helped her mother fold laundry or make dinner. She didn't complain. She thought that was love, doing what needed to be done. Her sister Vanessa was different. Vanessa was the sunshine of the family, loud, beautiful, and full of charm. Everyone adored her, even when she made mistakes. Teachers forgave her, relatives spoiled her, and their mother, Evelyn, smiled at her like she could do no wrong. When their father was still alive, Maya used to think everything would be okay. He was quiet, but he noticed her. He would leave little notes on her desk saying, "Proud of you." Those small words meant everything. But after he died, things changed. Evelyn became colder, harder. She started depending on Maya for everything, bills, errands, even emotional support. Maya was still young, barely out of school, but she worked part-time jobs just to keep the house steady. She never complained. She thought she was doing the right thing. Vanessa, on the other hand, couldn't wait to leave. She packed her things and went to the city, chasing a glamorous life. For years, she barely called. When she did, it was usually to brag about new clothes, new friends, new adventures. Evelyn would beam during those calls, acting proud, as if Vanessa was some kind of celebrity. Meanwhile, Maya came home every night to the same quiet house, cooking dinner for two, helping her mother with her back pain, paying half the bills from her nursing job. But no matter what she did, it was never enough. Evelyn didn't thank her. She didn't even notice half the time. It was as if Maya's quiet kindness had become invisible. Years passed that way. Maya worked long shifts at the hospital, sometimes 16 hours straight. She would come home exhausted, take off her shoes by the door, and collapse onto the couch. Her phone rarely rang unless it was her mother asking for help with something. No, how are you? No, I'm proud of you. Just endless requests. Still, Maya stayed. She stayed because she believed family meant staying, even when it hurt. Then Vanessa came back. After all those years of silence, she returned as if she owned the place. Bags of designer clothes, stories about failed business deals, tears about a boyfriend who left her. Evelyn welcomed her with open arms, calling her my poor girl. And that was the beginning of the end. Now, sitting in her small apartment after being thrown out, Maya felt like a stranger to her own life. The walls were bare, the air too quiet. The first night she couldn't even unpack. She just sat on the floor with her suitcase beside her, staring at the rain outside. She told herself she should feel angry, but mostly she just felt empty. The next morning, she went to work as if nothing had happened. She smiled at patients, took vitals, wrote reports. On the outside, she was calm, the same dependable nurse everyone trusted. But inside, she was tired down to her bones. She thought about her mother often. About how Evelyn's love seemed to depend on how useful people were to her. When Vanessa made her look proud, she loved her more. When Maya paid the bills, she tolerated her. But when Maya finally needed kindness, there was none left to give. In the evenings, Maya would come home to her tiny apartment, eat dinner alone, and scroll through photos of families smiling together. She wondered what it would feel like to belong somewhere, not as a helper, not as a background character, but as someone loved for who she was. Sometimes she caught herself thinking about Vanessa. Despite everything, she missed her sister, the little girl who used to steal her snacks and crawl into her bed when storms scared her. But that sister was gone now, replaced by someone who only came home when her life fell apart. Maya sighed and pulled the blanket around herself. She tried to be grateful. At least she had peace now. No shouting, no guilt trips, no walking on eggshells. But the silence was heavy. It reminded her how lonely responsibility can be when no one ever takes care of you. For years, she had been the glue holding everyone together. Now that she was gone, she realized, maybe they never saw her as glue at all. Maybe she was just something to use, and then throw away when they were done. That thought hurt most of all. Still, she whispered to herself before going to sleep, "You're free now." She didn't know if she believed it yet, but she hoped that one day she would. Maya receives a phone call from an old friend one quiet afternoon. She's just come home from another long hospital shift, her scrub still wrinkled and her hair pulled back in a messy bun. Her friend's voice sounds worried. "Maya, have you heard about your mom and Vanessa?" Maya freezes. "No." "What happened?" "They're in trouble," the friend says softly. "Vanessa's business failed. Something about unpaid loans and bad investments. Your mom's been trying to help her. I think she even took out another loan to cover Vanessa's debt." Maya's stomach tightens. She leans against the counter, gripping her phone. "You mean, my mom is in debt because of Vanessa?" "I'm afraid so," her friend replies. "She's been asking people for help. I thought you should know." When the call ends, Maya stands in silence. She can hear the hum of the refrigerator, the faint sound of cars outside, but her mind is spinning. Even after everything, after throwing her out, her mother is still risking everything for Vanessa. That evening, her phone rings again. It's her mother. Maya hesitates before answering, her chest heavy with dread. "Hello." Evelyn's voice is shaky but still carries that familiar tone, half demanding, half pretending to care. "Maya, I didn't want to call, but I need your help. Your sister is going through a rough time. The bank is threatening to take action. I just need a little money to cover things until we sort it out." Maya swallows hard. "Mom, you kicked me out. You said Vanessa needed space. Now you want me to fix things again." "Don't start that," Evelyn snaps. "I did what I had to do for your sister. You know how fragile she is. She just made some bad choices. Family helps family, Maya." Maya feels tears burn her eyes. "I was family when I paid your bills. When I stayed and helped you after Dad died. But when she came back, you pushed me out like I didn't matter." There's a long pause. Evelyn sighs, impatient. "You've always been dramatic. I just need some money, not a lecture." That's when something inside Maya breaks. Not loudly, but quietly, like a rope finally snapping after being pulled too long. "No," she says simply. "What?" Evelyn sounds shocked. "I can't do this anymore, Mom," Maya continues. Her voice is calm but trembling. Every time you call, it's because something's wrong. Every time I give, and it's never enough. You didn't even ask how I was. You only call when you need something. Evelyn's tone turns cold. I see. So after everything I've done for you, you're abandoning me now? Maya lets out a bitter laugh. You're the one who told me to leave, remember? The silence stretches between them. Finally, Evelyn says in a sharp, wounded voice, "You've changed." "Yes," Maya whispers. "I had to." She ends the call. Her hands are shaking, but for the first time in years, she feels a strange sense of power, painful, but freeing. That night, guilt sits heavy in her chest. She lies awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about her mother's voice. A part of her wants to run back, to fix everything like always, but another part whispers that she deserves peace, that saving people who destroy her isn't love. Days later, she hears from another friend that Vanessa is telling people Maya abandoned the family, that she refused to help her sick mother, that she's selfish and ungrateful. At first, the lies hurt. Maya cries in her car after work, gripping the steering wheel, feeling the weight of her sister's betrayal. But then something shifts. She realizes she's tired of proving herself to people who will never see her worth, so she decides to cut contact completely. No more calls, no more guilt, no more being the quiet savior. She blocks their numbers, deletes old messages, and puts her phone face down. It feels like losing a piece of her heart, but also like finally being able to breathe. For the first time, she isn't reacting to pain. She's choosing peace. And even though it breaks her, deep down, she knows this is the first real act of love she's ever given herself. Evelyn begins to blame Maya publicly for all their problems. At first, Maya doesn't believe it. She thinks people are just gossiping, that maybe someone misunderstood something her mother said. But soon messages start coming in, distant relatives, family friends, old neighbors, all asking the same thing. "Maya, how could you abandon your mother like that? Your poor sister told us everything. I thought you were the good one." Each message feels like a punch to the chest. She scrolls through social media and sees small, painful hints. Posts from Vanessa about fake family members, and people who only care about money. Evelyn comments with hearts and sad emojis. It's clear who they're talking about. Maya sits alone in her apartment, trying not to cry. She left because she wanted peace, not because she stopped caring. But now everyone thinks she's the villain. Vanessa, it seems, has done her job well. She's been whispering lies in their mother's ear, twisting the story until Maya looks like the selfish one. She tells Evelyn that Maya always wanted her gone, that Maya never really loved them, that she only helps when it makes her look good. And Evelyn believes her. One afternoon, Maya's aunt calls her. "Sweetheart," she says carefully, "I don't want to get in the middle, but did you know your sister used your mother's house for a loan?" Maya feels the world spin. "What do you mean used the house?" "She put it as collateral for her business," the aunt explains. "Your mother signed the papers too. But the business failed, and now the bank might take the house." Maya goes silent. Her throat tightens, and she grips her phone until her knuckles turn white. Her childhood home, the place her father built, the last piece of him they had left, was now at risk because of Vanessa's greed. When she gets off the call, she sits in the dark for a long time. She wants to scream, to call her mother and demand answers, but she knows how it will go. Evelyn will defend Vanessa again, just like always. So instead, Maya focuses on her work. At the hospital, her efforts are finally being noticed. She gets promoted to a senior nurse, her patients love her, and her supervisor tells her she's one of the most reliable staff members they have. For the first time, someone actually sees her, not as a background helper, but as a person who matters. Still, at night, the loneliness creeps in. She looks at her phone, half expecting her mother to call and apologize. But there's only silence. Months pass. Maya builds a quiet, steady life. Morning coffee by the window, books on her nightstand, new plants on her balcony. Peaceful, simple things that she never had before. But peace doesn't always feel easy. Sometimes, it feels like standing in the middle of an empty room, surrounded by the ghosts of people you love but can't save. Then one evening, her cousin sends her a message. "Maya, I think you should know. The bank is about to take your mom's house. She hasn't told you because she's embarrassed." Maya reads the words again and again. Her hands tremble. She can almost picture her mother sitting in that same living room. The one filled with family photos, now probably empty and cold, realizing everything was slipping away. For a long moment, Maya doesn't know what to do. Her heart aches. She wants to rush there, to fix everything like before. But she remembers the last phone call, the cold tone in her mother's voice, the lies Vanessa spread, the pain of being blamed for simply choosing herself. Tears fill her eyes. Why do I still care? She whispers to the empty room. Because that's who she is, the responsible one. The one who feels love even after being hurt. The one who wants to save people who would never save her. She spends the night pacing, torn between anger and compassion. She knows if she helps again, she'll be dragged back into their chaos. But if she doesn't, she'll never forgive herself for doing nothing. In the end, she sits on her bed, staring at the moonlight spilling across the floor, realizing something painful and true. Love without limits had almost destroyed her once. Now she would have to decide if she was strong enough to care without losing herself again. Outside, the world is quiet. But inside, Maya feels the storm building. One that will soon bring her face to face with the truth she's been running from. Maya visits home for the first time in months. Her hands tremble slightly as she unlocks the old gate. The yard looks wild now. Weeds everywhere. The flowers her father once planted all gone. The windows are dark, the curtains half torn. The house feels smaller than she remembered, quieter too, like all the warmth has faded. When she knocks on the door, it opens slowly. Evelyn stands there. She looks older, her face tired, her hair messy, her eyes red like she hasn't slept in days. For a long moment, neither of them says anything. Maya, Evelyn whispers, her voice weak. Hi, Mom, Maya says softly. Her heart feels heavy. They stand there in silence until Evelyn steps aside and lets her in. The living room is nearly empty, the furniture gone, a few boxes piled in the corner. Maya looks around, shocked. What happened? She asks quietly. Evelyn's lips tremble. She's gone, she says, her voice breaking. Vanessa left. Maya blinks. What do you mean left? She took the rest of my savings, Evelyn whispers. Said she'd pay me back once her new plan worked. And then she just disappeared. No calls. No messages. Maya stands still, trying to breathe. A mix of anger and sadness burns inside her. After everything, all the lies, all the sacrifices, Vanessa had done it again. And her mother had let her. Evelyn sinks into a chair, covering her face with her hands. I was so stupid, she sobs. I thought if I helped her, she'd love me. I thought she needed me. Maya watches her. This woman who once seemed so strong, now small and broken. A part of her wants to yell, to remind her of how cruelly she treated her. But another part just feels tired. Mom, she says quietly, you didn't have to do this alone. Evelyn shakes her head. You wouldn't understand. Vanessa was always different. She made me feel needed. You never did. The words sting. What do you mean? Maya asks. Evelyn looks up at her, tears running down her cheeks. You were just like your father, she says slowly. Quiet, serious, always doing the right thing, always reminding me of him. He left me, Maya. Every time I looked at you, I saw him. His face, his silence, the way he used to look past me. I couldn't love you the same way. It hurt too much. Maya's breath catches in her throat. She takes a step back, staring at her mother in disbelief. All those years of distance, the cold words, the unfair treatment. Suddenly it all makes sense. It wasn't because Maya wasn't enough. It was because she reminded Evelyn of her own pain. Tears fill Maya's eyes, but she doesn't shout. She doesn't fight. She just feels hollow. I wasn't him, Mom, she whispers. I never left you. I stayed. Evelyn starts crying harder. I know, she says. And I'm sorry. I see it now. You were the one who cared. You were the one who stayed when everyone else left. Maya kneels down beside her, gently taking her hand. I wanted you to love me, that's all, she says softly. Even when you pushed me away. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The only sound is the wind blowing through the broken window. Then slowly, Evelyn leans forward and hugs her. It's weak and trembling, but real. Maya closes her eyes. For the first time in her life, she feels her mother's arms around her. Not out of control or guilt, but out of something close to truth. She could hate her. She could walk away. But instead, she chooses compassion. I'll help you get back on your feet, Maya says quietly. But I can't live here again. I need peace, Mom. And I need honesty. Evelyn nods, still crying. I understand. They sit there for a long time. Two women, both broken in their own ways, finally facing what years of silence had built between them. When Maya leaves that night, the air feels different. She knows things will never be perfect. Her mother will still have regrets, and she will still carry scars. But at least now, the truth has been spoken. And sometimes truth is the first step toward healing, even when it hurts. Maya helps her mother stabilize but refuses to move back in. Every week, she visits to check on her, helping with bills and arranging meetings with the bank. Slowly, things start to settle. Evelyn begins seeing a therapist, something she once said she'd never do. She starts cooking again, keeping the small garden clean, and even smiling sometimes. But this time, Maya keeps her distance. She makes it clear. I'll help you, Mom, but we need honesty and respect. No more secrets. No more guilt. Evelyn nods, understanding. There's no argument this time, no cold silence. Just quiet acceptance. Maybe for the first time, she truly sees Maya. Not as a helper, not as a shadow of her father, but as her own person. Maya feels a strange peace as she leaves the house each time. It's no longer her prison of guilt. It's just a place where her mother lives. And that's enough. She focuses on her own life now. She takes a short break from work, something she's never allowed herself before. She travels to a nearby town, spends her mornings walking by the beach, and drinks coffee in silence, letting the sun warm her face. She reconnects with old friends, laughs more easily, and even starts talking to someone new. A gentle man she met through work who listens without judgment. It's slow, calm, and real. Everything she never had before. Meanwhile, Vanessa tries to come back. One afternoon, Maya gets a message. Hey sis, I messed up. Can we talk? Maya stares at the screen for a long time. A year ago, she would have answered immediately, ready to fix everything again. But now she knows better. She types a short reply. I hope you're okay, but I can't go through this again. Take care. Then she puts her phone down and walks away. No guilt, no tears, just calm. For the first time, Maya realizes love isn't about saving people who keep breaking you. It's about choosing peace, even if it means walking alone for a while. Her mother calls one evening, just to chat, not to ask for money or help, but to tell her about the new flowers blooming in the yard. The conversation is light, almost normal. When they hang up, Maya smiles. Healing doesn't happen fast, but it's happening. As she sits by her window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance, Maya finally feels something she hasn't felt in years, freedom. She has learned that love without boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-destruction. And now, she's done destroying herself for others. This time, she chooses herself. Maya visits her old home, now sold to another family. She stands at the gate, watching children play in the yard where she and Vanessa once chased each other. The walls are painted a new color. The flowers are blooming again, and laughter fills the air. For a moment, she feels a soft ache in her chest, a mix of nostalgia and peace. She walks closer and slips a small envelope into the mailbox. Inside is a short note written in her careful handwriting. I forgive you, but I choose peace. She takes one last look at the house. Not with anger, not with regret, but with quiet acceptance. The past is still part of her, but it no longer controls her. Later that evening, she sits by the ocean. The waves move slowly, the sky painted in soft shades of gold and blue. The wind brushes through her hair as she stares at her phone, scrolling through her contacts. Her mother's name appears, then Vanessa's. For a long time, she just looks at them, memories flashing through her mind. Laughter, pain, love, betrayal, and all the moments in between. Then with a deep breath, she presses delete. Not out of anger, out of release. She whispers to herself, sometimes, you have to lose your family to find yourself. A small smile forms on her face. The ocean roars gently as if agreeing. Maya closes her eyes, feeling the peace she once thought she'd never find. She doesn't know exactly what her future holds. But for the first time, she isn't afraid. The camera lingers on her calm face, the sunset glowing behind her. And then slowly the scene fades to quiet, bittersweet calm. Hi besties. Sparkling Heart, thank you so much for watching till the end. If you felt this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more emotional stories. See you in the next one. Bye. Waving hand sparkles.